Good morning, everyone. This is Father Nate, missionary priest in Italy, and thanks for joining us today, November 15th, on No Greater Delight, our podcast on Marian feasts and Marian meditations. Well, today we have a number of feasts that we're celebrating. First up, in Savoy, France, Our Lady of Pinerol, or Pinerolo, Notre Dame de Piedmont. The region of Savoy is right between that sort of France-Italy region, right? This is a very old shrine. It was built in 1098 in honor of Our Lady's Assumption, many years, almost 1,000 years, before the actual proclamation of the dogma. Likewise, on the morning of November 15th, 1800, on Nouvelle Beach in Tunis, we have the finding of the wooden statue by Nicola Moretto, a slave, that would eventually be venerated as Our Lady of the Slave, La Madonna dello Schiavo, in Carloforte, Carbonia Iglesias, Sardinia, Italy. Having been captured by pirates and taken to Tunis as a slave, Moretto took this as a sign that Our Lady had not abandoned him. In 1215 in Rome, 4 days after the opening of the Fourth Lateran Council, Pope Innocent III consecrated the Basilica of Santa Maria in Trastevere. Lastly, in the 1600s at some point, we have the finding of the statue of Nossa Senhora do Rocio in Paranaguá, Brazil. In 1970, Nossa Senhora do Rocio was declared the patroness of the state of Paraná. The image was caught in the nets of a fisherman who was having a troubled time catching anything. Saying a prayer, he cast his net and hauled in the statue. From that moment on, his fishing went well. Now you might ask why it's called Rocio, which is like drops or dew. It may make reference to the water that dripped off of the statue, or the fact that his nets were dripping with water. Something like that. That's how the image got its name. For today's reading from True Devotion to Mary by St. Louis de Montfort, we're continuing with part 2 on the most excellent devotion to our Blessed Lady, or perfect consecration to Jesus through Mary. We're talking about the motives for the perfect consecration. This is the second section. And now we're on the 8th motive, the 8th and final motive. And today we can actually finish this. We're going to read points 179 all the way through 182. So point 179 says, "Oh, how happy is the man who has given everything to Mary, and has entrusted himself to Mary in everything and for everything. He belongs all to Mary, and Mary belongs all to him. He can say boldly with David, Ec facta est mihi, Mary is made for me. Or with the beloved disciple, Eccepi eam in mea, I have taken her for all my goods. Or with Jesus Christ, Omnia mea tua sunt, et omnia tua mea sunt. All that I have is yours, and all that you have is mine." 180. If any critic who reads this shall take it into his head that I speak here exaggeratedly, and with an extravagance of devotion, alas, he does not understand me, either because he is a carnal man who has no relish for spiritual things, or because he is a worldling who could not receive the Holy Spirit, or because he is proud and critical, condemning and despising whatever he does not understand himself. But the souls which are not born of blood, nor of flesh, nor of the will of man, but of God and Mary, understand me and relish me. And it is for these that I write. Point 181. Nevertheless, I say now both for the one and for the other, in returning from this digression, that the Divine Mary, being the most gracious and liberal of all pure creatures, never lets herself be overcome in love and liberality. As a holy man said of her, for an egg she gives us an ox. That is to say, for a little that is given to her, she gives much of what she has received from God. Hence, if a soul gives itself to her without reserve, she gives herself to that soul without reserve, if only we put our confidence in her without presumption, and labor on our side to acquire virtues and to bridle our passions. And then point 182. Let us then, the faithful servants of the Blessed Virgin, say heartily with St. John Damascene, and here begins his quote, "Having confidence in you, O Mother of God, I shall be saved. Being under your protection, I shall fear nothing. With your succor, I shall give battle to my enemies and put them to flight. For devotion to you is an arm of salvation, which God gives to those to whom it is his will to save." Now we have that in Latin, but that's okay. I don't think we need to read that. And that ends the 8 motives, he says, for this excellent devotion, and gives us good reason to think about the importance of being consecrated to Jesus through Mary.
Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed our Marian podcast. As St. John Paul II teaches us, from Mary we learn to love Christ, her Son, the Son of God. Through her intercession, may we grow ever closer to Him. We encourage you to share this with a loved one or friend and help spread our devotion to Mary. Thank you, and God bless.